Well, good evening everyone on the penultimate race on Silverstone for SSRI, the GT3 Tier 1 race, which is of course at the moment the only race that we're hosting. At the moment I'm your only commentator. Oliver is a bit late and he should be joining us soon, so you're gonna have to do with me for the time being. So, a race on Silverstone, a familiar name and a very familiar track, I think, for most of the people racing tonight. So that should be something really, really nice because people know it well, and it's a really fun racetrack to race on anyway. There's a round 4 race at the moment, so it's gonna be, I think, an hour race. I didn't really check. 75-minute race. So it's going to be a bit longer with a bit of pit strategy this time around again, which means that I also only have to do the single pit stop for fuel and not an official tire pit stop. And it's going to be interesting because we have a few standings, I think, at the moment where it's going to be close for at least a few of the positions in the on the current calendar. So Silverstone as a 4th race, I'll take you quickly through some of the standings that we have at the moment, because in the I'll do the first 5 for each class. So for our pro racing drivers, we have Michael Thomas at the moment in 1st place with 116 points and 2 victories. In the Nissan, we have Chris Vinning in a BMW. He's positioned with 97 points at number 2. He has a 3rd place, 2nd place and 11th place. And remember also that we have a dropped round, so it might change once the lowest result score is removed. Regan Mitchell at the moment is in position number 3 with 7, 5 and 3. Although I do believe that he cancelled this race tonight, which is a shame because he was doing really, really well. And then we have Theo Fredriksson in the Nissan, who's had 2 2nd places and a 41st place in Suzuka, so that wasn't really well. And then Nick Vargas, he's been positioned 40th, 3rd and 5th in Watkins Glen, Suzuka and Oulton Park. So those are our top 5 in the pros. And then in the silvers we have Burak Kunt with his 8th, 12th and 16th position, and Rhys Groter with 6th, 22 and 18th. Then Dave Hedges is 3rd place there at the moment with 33, 13, 13, and Patrick Bijsters in the BMW 13, 18 and 26, and Patrick Teffers with 20 and 15 and no show, so he's been doing really well for only 2 races. Then our amateurs, we have with a mile ahead Ranjiv Kalsi in the Ferrari, who has a 19th, 25th and 10th position. Misha Melis has a 33rd, 4th, 30th position, and Jan van der Kraan 21, 21 and 31. Steve Parker 32, 27, 29. and Tom Ferry's 35 and 38, and he didn't race at Oulton Park. So these are our sort of leaders at the moment in our separate categories, because we have the three, so we have the pros, the silvers, and the amateurs. And yeah, that's it's going to be interesting to see if there are any new developments during this race. Looking at the times that have been driven at the moment on the practice server, then we unfortunately see Michael Thomas being really quick again, with a high 156, so 156.7, which is a really quick time on that track. So he's going to be, I think, in good stead. Stuart Wright is at the moment the quickest silver driver with a 157.6, and our quickest amateur driver at the moment is Max de Bruin with a 158.92, but Ranjiv Kalsi is really close with a 9.5. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting how the race will pan out and the qualifying will go, because it's a track also where you can quite easily make a mistake, costing you quite a lot of time. It's of course a famous track with a lot of famous corners that we will run through a bit later, or perhaps shortly even, when we do a track map if we have it. I'll just ask our resident commentator, Mr. Chris Hill, who's in the background supporting me with the camera work. Oh, and this is, I think, our track guide already. So we start at from the corners Woodcote to Copse, which is not your usual Grand Prix start, but this is Copse, where we turn to the right, which is a quick corner, but it's quite easy to sort of overshoot it and get a track limit there. And then the famous combination of Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel, which is this really nice flowing corners. But this is also a point where it's easy to make a mistake. You might spin out. Going side by side is possible, but hard. And the exit, especially on this board on Chapel, is a really important one, because you take all that speed into the Hanger Straight, moving you into the corner of Stowe. There's this little bump in the track where you can actually sort of, if you start braking there, this is a really high speed corner, but it's tapering off to a really difficult part in Vale, and then you get this chicane with the other entry. The chicane, we take the outer one into clubs, and that's a really tricky part, really slow, hard to take right. I always find it really glitchy, and the car is sliding onto the Hamilton Straight. And then this is also a really nice part that you have to brake quite hard. Don't try and overshoot that, but you can take a lot of speed, and then you get a really good entry point from Abbey here into Farm on the left hand, and then into Village, and that's really a braking point where you can try and overtake. If somebody messes it up a bit here, the loop, which is your next sort of hairpin, is somewhere where you can really try to get a run on somebody. And if you do it really well, that's on Aintree here, this corner, you can be really close behind. You have this long straight where you can try to overtake again into, what is it, Brooklands. So that's Wellington Straight. You get into Brooklands, and then in Lovefield. And yeah, this is also a corner where you really need to try and grab your speed to get it onto the side here, and then full speed on ahead with the pit entry here on the left, on the right, sorry. And then you're back onto the straight for a first lap at the 5.891 kilometer long track of Silverstone. It's a really fun track. It's originally based on an RAF airfield from the war, and I think the fact that it officially became a track started in 1948. After a sort of get-together of friends, when it wasn't a track yet, where they sort of raced, and well, because it was also a place where they herded sheep. One of the guys who organized it there actually ran over a sheep, killed it, totaled his car, and I think they called it also in 1947 the Mutton Grand Prix as yet where they
sort
sort
of small.
raced. Well,
Yeah, I think celebration of the sheep.
Herded sheep. So that's the. So we started qualifying now as well. And it's because it's also a long track. It's a wide track. It's going to be quite easy, I think, to do decent lap without being bothered too much with a few others. And I hope we don't see this sort of harmonica effect before the first straight, and people are actually being able to sort of race on to get their laps up and running. So it's a long track. There should be a lot of plenty of room to have some space to do a decent lap when you're harmonica effect. Not quite sure if we can perhaps take a look from inside of a car, Chris, and then just go through the track. So it's a long track. This is, I think, entering, that's Village, and then the loop here, I think. And then we go to Aintree, not sure if we can perhaps onto Wellington Straight. Yeah, and this is also, this is somewhere you can sort of get out of bound but get back in without losing too much speed, but it will give you your track limits, and it's quite easy actually. Village and then the loop here as well. So hopefully we don't see it, but yeah, it's not too weird if you get if we see some drivers. This is also somewhere you can, especially if people are trying to outbrake each other. It's and it's a track that sort of invites you to try and do that. Then. Yeah, it's really easy to get out of bounds. So this is a really high-speed corner, just shift down one gear, full on throttle, try to keep it in the lines, and then we get to the famous section of Maggots and Beckets where you really need to attack the first few corners and then start to brake a bit and slow down to get the second ones correctly. So you first cut to the left and then take as much curb here as you can and run it wide and take up as much speed as you can, because that's a profit that you have during that whole straight. So if you then get into what is it, the Hanger Straight now, and then into Stowe, I think third here normally, perhaps he's in fourth and third, and then this is a really hard braking zone, and I think the tightest corner, almost one of the tightest corners on the the loop as well, which is really tight. And here the setup depending, you can sort of go full throttle through that corner if you don't start to slide too much. This is just braking a little bit, try to keep as much speed and get onto the throttle again as well, and then brake really hard on this part and cut it. Because you now see people going actually really wide to the left, it invites people to go on the inside there and try to overtake. And then this is the Cops is the hardest corner, I think, to do right, because it's almost sort of blind the way you approach it, and then it sort of tightens as well. So back on the Wellington Straight, into plans, take as much speed as you can, but you really need to brake hard here to not overshoot it, because that compromises your whole line here through Lovefield and onto the final part. And here's the sort of Woodcock, which is just so back on the Wellington Straight going on. Oh, apparently there's an echo perhaps in the audio. Brake hard. I hope it's not on my part. Oh, so it's sorted here. So sorry by our hopeful ghost on the line on the other side of my thing. So that's that's a quick track and a view through the cockpit. So first laps are now getting in. So Michael Thomas already in the 156th again. So really quick. Overshooting the corner a bit there, so that's going to be invalidated, I think, that lap. And again, unfortunately, we see the Nissans were being especially quick, so they have at the moment the quickest times. One thing that is perhaps nice to know, if you look at the way the cars normally are balanced, that's via the balance of performance. Which is a way to balance out the cars and make sure that all the cars sort of seem to get the similar performance or out of the or similar lap time. So a few of the cars like the Nissan and the Lexus were not really doing well anymore, and we are using a balance of performance that is being done via handicap, which is additional weight on the car or weight taken away, and that's then done from LFM, which is Low Fuel Motorsports. This is a sort of organized racing league that gives an opportunity to do competitive racing, and they have a lot of racers, and based on everyone that is racing there, the cars are balanced out. And then you see here that, for example, the Nissan has a minus 30 kilos to sort of try and get into the same spot as the other cars, and a few other cars just get extra weight because otherwise they would be just way too quick. And I think the lowest car is the Lexus. The lowest or the biggest weight takeoff is the Lexus, and I think the maximum is plus 14. That's perhaps the highest it can go. I don't know exactly what the maximum is though. So track temperature and race temperature are at the moment 20 and 27 degrees. Looking at the people driving, so if you look at the list of names, you can see the car there, the car number. You see the time and the difference between the times. You also will see if they are in the pit, and the green flag that you see at the moment behind it, that's actually an indicator that will be orange during the start of the race. And once people have done their obligatory pit stop, in this case with refueling only if they want to, then that will turn green after that, and you will know that somebody has pitted. So that's the sort of hut that is there. So we also have the view of the cars with the track, and there we have, I think the red dot is the car we're following at the moment, which is in this case Nick Vargas. The grays are the cars all in the same lap, I think. And the yellows are the ones that are sort of stopped on track, or at least that are danger at that moment. And I thought that the greens were the cars that actually are up in their time at the moment. They're now quicker than than they were in the race. I think we have blue as well, and those are the cars that are a lap behind. So it's sort of a small explanation on what's happening there. Not quite sure if I need to say hi to Boss's mom. I'm not even sure if is Boss in the Boss is in the race. So haven't seen his mom yet, but hi. Is there perhaps also anyone in the YouTube chat that wants to see their guy or their person drive? Please let us know, and we can take a look from at their car and see how they're doing. That would perhaps be fun for some people to take a look at as well. So we're now halfway, or starting to approach halfway the qualifications, and Michael Thomas is still quickest, still with the same time, but Chris Finningen, his BMW is quite close, to be honest, with only about 2 tenths behind, so that's closer than I would have expected. But it's a track also, if you push really hard, it's quite easy to sort of just make a small mistake, just be a little bit out of bounds, and slide it a bit out of the track. And then it's a long track as well before you can start your new lap. I mean, it's an almost 2-minute lap. I think Oulton Park was perhaps 1:30 or so. So that's quite a difference. So looking at our silver class, then we have Stuart Wright, who's at the moment really quick. And he's really doing well because he's of course in the top 10, being quicker than quite a few of our pro drivers. And let me take a quick look. I seem to be missing North Cox in his last to first challenge, which he did the last couple of times, but I don't see him in, and I'm not quite sure if he actually signed out on SimGrid. So that would be a bit of a shame. It's always nice to see what somebody can achieve from the back to the front. So, and I think, did Sam sign out as well for that? Yeah, but that's for the whole competition, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Sam is no longer racing, so which is a bit of a shame because he's always really quick and always was able to give it a good fight. And I think he was the only Lambo, so if anybody wants to switch cars, even though you lose all your competition points, the Lambo is a really nice car to drive. I can attest to it. I've done it. It's a car that's really, really nice. So it's a car I know will personally really miss on the track, to be honest. It's maybe a bit boring without that. So if we have a Honda but we don't have a Lambo, what's going on here? Any changes at the moment? So are we up with people doing quicker? So we have Peter Van Eer, because it is really close. If you look now from the first 11, they're within 0.8 of a second. So any change there or anything quicker there might really help you out. So we do have Burak Kant, who's now, yeah, he was 0.3 up now, and Patrice Korter was 0.4 up. So it's there are still quite a few things you can improve, and if you want to do like a short stint, then this is the time where you need to be in the pit, take a new set of tires, and then sort of go all out for your last attempt. Because it's I think going from the pit now to before your tires are really warm, you're gonna need perhaps 2 laps. So you would just be in time to get your perhaps 3rd and 4th lap in if you would now drive out of the pits. So interesting to see if anybody is taking the chance of they've all just taken enough fuel to sort of try and push to the end. But it's yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to be going, to be honest. Really nicely kept there. Oh, nicely out of the way. So that's always something that it's really something as a community. I think we all agree that it's we try to be just decent racers, I think, and be a bit of a gentleman racer if possible. So if you can get out of the way cleanly, just do it. If you know you're not on a quick lap and you notice somebody behind you is really closing in, well, why push for your 1 lap that you've sort of not, where you're not doing it anyway, and then just give the other guy a chance to be really, really fast. That's nice. So Steve, that's nice. If you just take enough of that curb there, then you probably took all the speed that you could get through that corner. And I always find that one a bit hard to approach. So that's the what is it? The village. You can take a few lines there, and it's always a bit hard, especially during the race, to see if people are actually going to be trying to overtake you, and then you gotta do. Oh yeah, KVP. He was asking indeed for Steve Parker and show a lap of Steve for our Drift King. But it was when he was driving that slidey Beamer and not the. Or this is the slidey Mercedes and not the Beamer. Going on to Terrier, is he improving? Yeah, he is. He's a 10th up at the moment, which, yeah, puts him on position number 2. So it's a nice leap for Terrier, and gives us the Nissans again in first and second place. So wondering if Liam Walsh is, he's now out, so he's trying to do this, his final few laps with really new tires and see if he can get anything out of it that he wasn't be able to do before. It's nice to see again quite a few cars, although I'm kind of missing the Mercedes in the top 10. And Mr. Scheckerman, so Brian Scheckerman is the only Porsche at the moment. Being close to the top 10, but like position 14 and 15 for the Mercedes. I would have expected them to do a bit better, to be honest. I mean, there are a few curves that you can sort of use here, and yeah, the Mercedes is quite known for being really good on the curves normally. Although I'm not quite sure if this was actually the track where Steve Parker was drifting. Might have been this one, to be honest. Oh, Paul Ricard, sorry. It's the wrong track. It was Paul Ricard, but which is also a really fast track anyway. So Liam is now trying to get some space between him and is that in front of him? The red Ferrari. So yeah, might be Ranjip. So yeah, that's something then that you do have to do. Oh yeah, that's Ranjip Kelsey. Yeah. So you have to, if you're really a lot quicker, so you probably need to take into account to have at least about 2 seconds distance between you and the person in front of you to sort of get everything out of it. So Terje and Chris are already in the pit, and I think it's gonna be really hard if they want to get out. No, if they still want to get out to be in time for a final lap. I think that would be almost impossible. So they've given up and are gonna try and hope they're gonna be to second and third. And yeah, this gives Liam and Samuel a chance anyway to try and improve. Just see if they can get a bit better. Michael is still out as well, but he's a 10th up at the moment. But his lap time is red, so I think he's not going to be improving. It's an invalid lap, I think he's on. Liam is really close anyway, I think, to his best time, because it was just a 10th up. So if you can now get it the slipstream of Ranjip Kelsey, perhaps a bit, and then he gets the last few corners right, he could be up for slight improvements, but he seems to be slowing down a bit. Yeah, he backed out. Going for another lap, perhaps. So do we have improvements on track? Yeah, Maarten van der Kraan and Leonardo Wolf Garcia are now both 4/10 up, so they should be perhaps be able to. No, he missed it, and then Maarten, he should be able perhaps to improve quite a bit. So still 3/10 up. If he's able to keep that up, he will improve to 11th, I think. Still the 3/10 up, so if he gets a good exit here, he might just improve a small bit. No, He's now on 2/10, so he took a bit less speed onto the Hamilton straight, I think. No, that's not Hamilton, that's Wellington straight. Final approach, 3/10 up again, 2/10 up. So he is going to improve. And yes, so 12th, yeah. So he got it on into the 157th, so really nice job from him. So qualifying time over, but still a few people on track. So, oh yeah, Michael Thomas got it close. So Liam Walsh is still at 10th up at the moment, but losing it again. And back on there, 2/10 up now. 1/10 up. Ooh. Should be able to get just a tiny bit out of it. And he does, and he's second. Well done, Liam. So that's really, really nice. So I think this concludes our qualification. So we have a bit of time, so that's I think that one lap from Michael Thomas, his starting lap, that's the one that did it for him, which is quite unexpected, to be honest. I would have expected people to, or at least, and even Michael to actually improve from that lap. I think it was quicker during practice. So we have our grid. So let me run through that shortly. So we have Michael Thomas, position number 1 in his Nissan GTR, Nismo GT3 to be completely official with it. Then we have Liam Walsh in the Ferrari 296, then Terje Fredriksen in the Nissan as well, and Chris Vinning in the BMW on 4th. Samuel van Liebenstein in the Honda, which is quite amazing again. I mean, I hope he keeps it up in the race as well. So Samuel van Liebenstein, position number 5. Andy King, brilliant qualifying by him as well in the Ferrari 296 on number 6. Roald Ordelman, he's in the Aston Martin, which is really nice to see that one up there as well. It's of course a home track, so yeah, why not? And then Peter Vernier in the Ferrari on position number 8, Nick Vargas in the BMW position number 9, and Brian Scheckerman in position number 10. Then we have our first silver driver, Stuart Wright in the Ferrari in position number 11. Maarten van der Kraan in the Ferrari on 12, and Ries Kroter in the Ferrari on position 13. Dave Hedges, our second silver driver in the Ferrari on position 14. Leonardo Wolf Garcia, our pro driver, is our first Mercedes AMG in position 15, and Andrew Richardson close next to him in position 16. Then Danny McCutcheon in the Lexus, so he's our first Lexus, I think. Yep, as a silver driver in position 17. Burak Kunt in position 18 in the BMW, same as Patrick Bijster in the BMW on 19. Then our first amateur driver, Ranjiv Kalsi in the Ferrari on position 20, Iridius Portes in the Ferrari on position 21, and Bas van Melis in the BMW on position 23. Then we have our second M driver, Max de Bruin, in position 23, and then we have 3 silver drivers, Karel van Hoorn in the Aston Martin, Mick Schelkens in the Ferrari, and Paolo Ambrosio in the Porsche on position 26. Then Ian van der Kraan, third M driver in the Ferrari, and then we have, is that our first McLaren? Yeah, our first McLaren, Wouter Vrins on position 28, and then Michael de Gore in the Lexus, Steve Parker
in the BMW, Arjen van der Linde in the BMW on 31, 32 Hamish Neugebauer in the Porsche, Peter Bokland in the McLaren on 33, Wouter Bijlsma in a McLaren on 34, Ivo van Doesburg in a McLaren on 35, and we have Tom Ferries in the Mercedes on 36. So that's our starting positions. So yeah, I think, are there any real surprises? I think Stewart is a bit of a surprise on the because he sort of ended 16th and 32nd on our first few races, and now being really quick on Silverstone. So that's a very nice surprise for the silver class to have all of a sudden a different leader at the start of the race anyway, which is really nice. And yeah, I think the top 5. So that's now Michael Thomas, Liam Walsh, and Chris is there. Chris Vining, yeah. We have Fabrican, of course, not there. Taya is there. So yeah, it seems that we have all our big persons. So the only one disappointing, if you can speak of disappointment, only qualifying top 10th is Brian Scheckerman in the Porsche. So it might be because he's I think 7th, because Sam is no longer racing. So he's a bit lower positioned than normal, but I think Andy King is doing a really good job. But yeah, he's been 6th and 4th, so he's been quick, but not on Oulton Park. I think perhaps he had a bit of bad luck. So yeah, really nice. So first, of course, the full lap, the warm-up lap. The tires are cold when we start the warm-up lap, and then you have a few ways that you can try to get heat into the tires, which is weaving to get heat in the tires, but you sort of scrub them a bit as well, so you lose some performance perhaps. And another way is just holding the brake continuously, and then try to get heat in all your tires, and then doing some brake balance stuff. You can try and get the tires in all the tires in a really nice position, or at least temperature. So it's a clockwise circuit, which means that your left tires will get a bit of a beating. And yeah, I think we've seen it in Formula One as well, right? So the left front tire, especially going through Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel, it's really hard. This track is really hard on the left front. So kind of curious if people will be able to sort of spare their tires and be able to make it a full. Oh, that's a bit of a nasty trick to get one of the 100-meter boards already demolished in the warm-up lap. I just noticed somebody in the stream hitting one of the what is it, the boards next to the marker boards. That's the thank you. That's the problem sometimes with English, not your first language, right? So kind of curious if people will actually change their tires, but even also if you're sort of trying get a bit too much on the out of the track, so I think you might be getting some damage on the tires as well, and then that's something that if you take too much curb already when your tires are still cold, if you hit the grass too much, if you, for example, go a bit too much on the inside and you hit the grass a couple of times, this will sort of damage the tire. That's a mechanism in ACC where at one point, if you hit them too much, your tires will actually deflate. And at one point, if it's too much and you get below your optimum PSI range, which is between 26 and 27, that's when you really start to lose grip, and especially on these high-speed corners, because Silverstone has a lot of high-speed corners. It's actually really hard on the tire, and then if you have a tire that's not performing well anymore, it's really hard to start losing the car at some points. So I think we start to get bunched up now. So in game, you're not going to see it here, but you will notice that you're going to have to start to be really close to your competitors, and you have to line up in a double line. And then we go for the race start in a few seconds, I guess. So then I need to do I need to do this the Oliver way? That's the question, of course. We are about to go. And hold a really long note, and then something like that. About to go. Race. Oh Jesus! We are green and we are racing. So really good start from Michael Thomas, and a nice start as well from Thierry, but he had to back out a bit of that, which unfortunately gives Michael already a big gap to the number 2. So let's hope he doesn't run away immediately and we have a bit of a battle. Come on. But there's a small touch there. So unfortunately we have a few cars that already are yellow, but it's overall gone really well. Only 2 cars that got a bit of a bad start. Oh, that's a bit of outbraking, but this gives a nice opportunity to, I think this is Chris, right? Who's doing the overtake now on the I think that was Samuel van Liebenstein. Yeah. Oh, was that Thierry? Oh, okay. Oh, did he? Oh yeah, he lost position. True, of course. Yeah. So, but quite a bit of a gap already by Michael Thomas, already a second. So that's hopefully Liam is able to catch up a bit though. Although I don't put my hopes on that too much. It's not something you want to hold your breath for, I think, in this case. Unfortunately, Michael is really that good, guys. Hey, and we have Boss's mom on the stream as well. Hello, Marike. Good evening. So, I think overall it didn't really go too bad. Then now we had car, what is it, 613 being off a bit. 213, was it 213? I think, or 613. It was Yves van Doesburg who had a bit of a moment there, I guess. So yeah, I think that was our, anyway, quite a decent first lap. Not too many incidents, I think. And of course, this is also a track that doesn't really promote all the incidents unless people are starting to go side by side through some of the corners. And even though it is this wide, I still find it a really hard track sometimes to overtake because people know the circuit so well. If you really that's Martin van der Kraan having a bit of a hard time there. But even though it's, like I said, it's a really wide track, it's not always that easy to overtake, because if you just put it on the sort of racing line or just next to it, it's even though you think, okay, I might be able to do an overtake here, it's still sometimes really difficult. The Porsche is sliding quite a bit, to be honest. I hope he tries to remember to save his tires, because it's a long race for 75 minutes, and you, especially in the Porsche, you need those rear tires at one point to get the grip and get out of the corners. But yeah, still really nice to see for us as spectators anyway, and I also feel personally I'm a spectator and a fan as well of the racing. So good thing to see is that at least Liam seems to be keeping up with Michael anyway. So it was 9/10 the difference, but it's still around that 9/10. So hopefully Michael is not running away completely. So Stuart Wright really close on the tail of Samuel, I think. Oh no, is that Samuel? Yeah. Oh, that's Stuart is Beckerman. Yeah, Scheckerman. So Brian Scheckerman. This should be. Oh yeah, there's. You have blocking and blocking, right? It's a bit of a dirty move, I think, but it's just responding to the car behind you where he's going. So, oh, that's a bit of a bad exit, I think, just in front of I think the Aston Martin by Robert Ordelman. So, but Aston Martin power just throttles through again. Ooh, nicely done. Is that Andy King? Is that Nick Vargas? Oh. 34, yeah. Yeah, Peter van Eer, yeah. That's Holland, so that's the... So what's his team again? Sim Racing Holland, yeah. Where can I see that? Is that... Oh, there, yeah. Oh, it's, yeah. Well, Nick Vargas is Motor Racing, yeah. Okay. So, but it's, I think, quite a close pack. At some points, anyway. So this is like from Nick Vargas, or I know Roald Ordelman, I think, to... So these are like, this is a train of like 8 or 9 cars. Really close together, all within 3 or 4 tenths of each other. Which is, I can tell you, as a racer, if you're in that group, it's just amazing. And if that would sort of be there the whole time, that would be just so much fun. But it's a really nice, fun feeling to get to be racing this close. The fun, yeah, the bad part perhaps is a bit of it, is that the sort of all the cars behind it, of course, get this sort of draft effect. So it's really hard to be overtaking people if everyone is getting that effect as well. But here the BMW is quite close by, so on a long straight, as the hangar straight, you should be able to really get close. But we're still staying with, yeah, I think the BMW, did he overtake? Or not? No, he didn't. Oh. I think the Aston has a really decent speed on the straight, right? He seems to be going really quick. Because normally I would have expected him to sort of... but it might also be that he's a bit slower through some of the sections, of course, but his straight line speed, because of a bit of a lower wing, is really good. It's always a track. I find Silverstone always a track as well, where it's really difficult sometimes to find a setup that works, because you have these really sections like Beckett's and Chapel, where you really need the downforce to get your car planted on the track. But you have some of these really long straights, Hanger Straight, Langton Straight, Hamilton Straight, where you really need the speed as well. And I still haven't really found the setup balance where I'm quick enough anyway. I'm definitely not as quick as the guys driving here at the moment. So looking at Michael Thomas as well, he's I think now in the 157s, sort of like half a second, so 57.5. And then Liam is in the 57s as well, 57.7. And then all the rest is in 58. So Chris Finning is in the 158.0. But everyone after that is like 58.5 and higher. So yeah, Michael Thomas is anyway to the I think to the yeah, I think to position 10, those are all like already 2 seconds a lap slower. So that's just immense pace by Michael. And Liam is doing a really good job to stay this close, I think, as well. But of course we have a few close battles on track. So I think especially the one between Roald and Nick and Peter van Neer, that's at the moment I think one of the closest. And they might be going quite a while like this. Like I said, it's a hard track to overtake, and I've seen battles like last for a really, really, really long time. And sometimes if somebody has a bit of a bad exit from the village, then you can try and push into the loop, but yeah, these guys are so experienced on this track is that it's just really, really hard. And you see Nick trying to sort of take a look, but he's just not closing in on that Aston Martin. It's just a rocket on the straight. Quite amazing. I would have thought, because the Beamer isn't slow either, right? It's a quick car. I've driven it as well in a season, or I think the last season I drove in the Beamer, I think. No, or the second to last. And it's a really, really quick car. It's got good straight line speed, but they just can't seem to get any closer. Not even the Ferrari, which is also just a really quick car around here. I mean, look at the top. I think in the top 10, the highest represented cars are the Ferraris, and I think if you look at the different classes, the highest cars are the Ferraris. So the Ferrari seems to be the sort of the car to be. Ooh, that's a nice drift. I think we have a new Steve Parker. No, not really, but he did try to take the crown. That's nice. So that was Peter, right? I think. Was it? Yeah, Peter van Neer. Yeah, Peter van Neer going for Drift King. That's nice. So, yeah, well, you gotta just point the car at the direction you want to go. That's the trick. But it's a small love tap. That's racing. That should be allowed. And that's a hard corner as well. It's and that's just a speed. It's a corner where you can. It's really difficult to sort of in the village and loop. It's sometimes quite hard to sort of gauge the speed that the other guy is using in that corner, and because you lose speeds, or you lose so much speed in the braking, just 1 or 2 kilometers difference already might put you into the back of someone. Where you can just, because if you take a bit of a longer line, that might be a track limit if he kept his foot on the throttle there. Because Kops is sort of famous for that. And I think because he's under so much pressure, he might just be doing that just to keep the distance. And it's hard because if you're quicker in that part, seem to be sort of evenly matched in Kops or in Maggots and Beckett's anyway. And then it's just really hard to get into this part and try to get this move done. Is he gonna try and outbrake? Yeah, he is. Nice. It's a bit of a love tap, and then this is of course he's on the inside. A bit of a tap there as well. That's perhaps not what we would have liked, because he was of course then forced completely off the track. And there's this you always have to leave the space, yes, in the Alonso way, which I personally don't always agree with if you're really on the outside. Whereas a car that's on the inside going full throttle gonna go. He can't go full throttle if he's really taking the line that you're supposed to do. It's always a bit of a difficult discussion. So let's see if Peter can actually, oh, nice. But will he, the next corner is of course the other one. Now, oh, that's gonna be, you almost try an overtake and then, yeah, nicely done by Peter, but does he have the speed on the straight? He has of course the inside line. No, he doesn't have the speed. Would that then be the draft effect? Oh, and then he's just losing it completely on the outside. But keeps his foot in and doesn't lose too much. But it's some feisty driving. So Liam still, after 7 laps, only like 2.5 seconds behind, which is decent. I mean, just one mistake. Though we haven't seen Michael make a lot of mistakes, but just one mistake and we might be there, right, in a situation where he's actually going to be able to do something. But yeah, it's there's some really nice and really nice racing, and yeah, it's a track that really invites staying close. You can do the drafting is really decent and nice on track. So. It's and if you get a couple of corners right and the other one gets it wrong, it's really easy to lose it. So going into like now 15 minutes of racing, you might see some cars getting a bit of a problem with the tires already, perhaps. Oh, that's unfortunate. But all still driving, so yeah. Okay, so Checkerman, so Stewart passed Checkerman at the moment, I think, so he's up in 10th position now. It's good also to see that for the silver class we have, of course, 4 drivers in a row as well, with Dave Hatchett, Dave McCutcheon, Patrick Wijsers and Burat Gunn. So I think Burat, wasn't he in the number 1? So he's the leader at the moment for the silvers, for the semi-pros. Oh, that's semi-pro, not silver. So he's our leader with a 1st, 2nd and 3rd position, but being only, and then only between the quotation marks, so visualize them please by putting your fingers up and doing the quotation marks. And then, so he's now in 5th for position, so I think he's going to try and do better. But meanwhile, we still have, of course, a race on our hands here with Stuart Wright also catching up to the people here. So I think it might be that Roald is actually keeping up or at least being a bit too slow for the people here, I guess. But this is also Dave Hedges with the silver class guys in tow, with Dave McCutcheon and Patrick Wijsers being really close together as well. So hopefully we'll see some action there, because what's better than a Lexus that's climbing up the ladder, right? It's not a car, like I said, I think before I've driven, but I've only heard good things about people that actually drove the car. People really, really like driving that car. And at one point it was a monster in the rain, which is a bit of a shame. It's Silverstone. We should have rain, right? Although no, we didn't, and we don't expect any rain as well. Oh, that's a small mistake. And we have a pause by Andrew Richardson. So, and Dave Hedges as well. Yeah, Reese just made a small mistake there going wide, and then yeah, if you're so close together, it's really easy to lose a couple of places immediately. So I'm always kind of curious here on in Packets and Maggots as well. Are people actually hitting the grass a lot there, because it's sort of easy to try and do that to make the corners as straight as possible. But if you do it too much, like I said before, I think you will get that deflating tire at one point. So let's see, we have Ace's boy saying good evening. So good evening to you, dear sir, or whoever you are. Yes, is that? Oh, Alex. Well, since when is he called Aces? What's so ace about Alex? Hi, Alex. So yeah, let's see what's going on track, because I'm of course distracted, and things are happening, and I should tell you what is happening, or even though you can see it, which is really weird, to be honest. Is there something wrong with your eyes? No, there isn't. So we have, at the moment we're watching Stuart Wright and Leonardo Wolf Garcia, who's been closing up to the pack here as well. So, and he's trying a different line, is what you would say, or you can say he outbraked himself a bit. But yeah, it's a close battle for these guys. I mean, if you've got 20 minutes now of this really close racing, and you've hit each other a couple of times, and yeah, it's just really intense. I don't know if people sort of know what race what the race is, what the race does to you. I mean, I think I've seen a guy who was saying, okay, on YouTube, he was checking out if it's a sort of a workout. I mean, you have most of the guys, I think will now race with direct drive force feedback, which is a workout in itself. If you want to pull a few Newton meters left and right during an hour and a stint, and then most people will, I think, drive with load cell pedals, where you have to put, for example, 60 kilograms of pressure on a brake pedal to get the full brake force. And it's a complete workout, and you really start to sweat. And then whenever you're in a pedal, your heart rate will go up to 140, 160 as well. It's a sweaty business if you get out of your chair. So yeah, it's a really, really, really nice way to get into a sweat and get out of and tell to people that you've done some sports at the end of the day. But still, there's a race going on, and we haven't seen any pit stops yet, which is nice, because this also means there hasn't been damage a lot. People will still be able to drive without any issues. So it's a really, really, really close battle at the moment, still between these four guys. So this is Robert Orderman, Nick Vargas, Peter Van Eer, and Stuart Wright, and Leonardo Wolf Garcia, I think. Oh no, is it Stuart? Oh, it's Stuart right next to Peter Van Eer, so it's not Leonardo. That's the Mercedes a bit behind there. If you look really far in the background, you can see the white car there. But it's quite amazing that he's actually still there. So Leonardo is, I think he drove. Oh, there's somebody that sort of got off track there. Leonardo is a really quick driver as well. And he was driving, I think, before the Mercedes. He drove anyway last year. He drove the Lamborghini as well, where he was way quicker than I was. But he's a quick driver as well. But let's just. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. Stewart disconnected apparently. So he disappeared off screen. So did that be something? That's a shame. If you're so close, let's see if anything pops up in the ACC chat. No, I don't. nothing there yet, but so maybe some people can take a look there and let us know what happened to Stewart, because that's a bit of a shame if you have such a nice race and you're for 25 minutes really into a really good position. I think because he was our first semi-pro, so that's a bit of a shame as well. Seems like we could have easily gotten victory here. That's a bit of a shame. Looking at the other silver class drivers, there seem to have been some changes there as well, because I think at one point I said, okay, we have Dave Hedges, and then we have this group of Burak, who was driving in 5th position for the semi-pros, but he's already in 2nd now. And Patrick Bijsters is in 3rd, and Dave McCutcheon is in 4th. So probably something happened there that split up that group of like 4 or 5 silver or semi-pro racers that were close together at that point. So some people snuck in, like Maarten van der Kraan and or Ian van der Kraan did that, and Elias Bartes and Ries Korter. Oh, that's okay. Didn't notice if he touched somebody there. Yeah. Oh, that was just oh, that was a really weird snap though, right? Because normally in that corner you're used to that the rear breaks out, because if it's a really high-speed corner, so you would normally lose your rear. So it's just really weird to lose the front like that. But he's still driving. So everything to race for. But yeah, I think this cost him a bit, because he's now the last of the pro drivers, and so he's got some work to do to catch up with Bas. So yeah. So here we have Arjan trying to get his move done on Michael de Gore, and we have a slight by what is his name? That's De Bruin, that's Max de Bruin, who did a slightly similar thing. He just overshot the corner and sort of lost all performance on his front tires. Might it be something to do then with the front tires that have such a hard job here, and perhaps a bit harder on the Ferraris than on the other cars. So here we have a small replay of what happened to Michael van der Kraan. So he's coming in hot. He's yeah, he just lost the rear a bit and then overcorrected and lost the front at that moment. So well, so it was not only, it started with the rear and then just an overcorrection, which is easily done. I can tell you that. That's why actually people driving, I have the utmost respect for anybody actually driving a real car, because it's just really hard. If you've ever done go-karting and done some braking or or tried to race in on really cold tires on a cold track, then you know what I mean. I think with it's really hard. So still Burak doing a really good job in sort of climbing up the ladder a bit, although oh no, he lost some places again, because he was 2nd and is now behind a few people again. So did something happen to him? Yeah, he's because he lost a few places again. He was, I think, reasonably starting to close up a bit to Dave Hedges, with still Andrew Richardson, I think, in between. But now he's behind Ian van der Kraan, which is probably slid out of the, yeah, his last lap was 2:05, so there he made a mistake somewhere as well. So He tried to overtake. Outbreak. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. Yeah, that's one of the unfortunate incidents that I think happens quite a lot in Cops. That is right. Oh, in Stowe. That's Stowe. Yeah, that's in Stowe. Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the corners where if you really take the outside line, which is the better line, because you want to sort of cut into it a bit from the outside to keep as much speed as possible. And that sort of seems to give a possibility to overtake on the inside. And then especially if somebody does not have a good view of his sights, so either the radar isn't paying attention, or he isn't using, or he is not able to actually see what's on the side of his car. Yeah, then it's really easy to just sort of turn in on a car that doesn't seem to be there at that point. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. And it's a really easy mistake to make in some of these corners. So also just doing a quick check on the positions. So I think that the difference between Michael Thomas after half an hour of racing between Michael Thomas and Liam Walsh is 4.6 seconds. And Chris Finning then is 11 seconds behind it. And then of course we still have that beautiful fight here between Nick Vargas and Roald Roderman. Is he able to do the inside? No, he isn't. So brilliant defending by Roald though. Overshooting the corner a bit, but still keeping it on track, and then, yeah, really nicely done. And Peter's clinging to the back of of Nick Vargas as well, and then closing in every once in a while. So, but it's yeah, I mean, they almost swapped positions already a few times. And there was some argy-bargy going on, but yeah, still a close battle after like half an hour of driving. There hasn't been probably more than a second between the guys, so yeah, just amazing fun for them as well, I guess. So sometimes you wish some of these people would come into not only the victors, but the people that had those really long close battles, that they would sort of pop up in the shed and for the interviews and just explain to the audience how it is to do racing just like that. I mean, it's a bit of a shame in that aspect that the first few drivers are so far apart already. So we can't hear much about really close racing. But yeah, also wondering when the we do already have had some pit stops, I see. So hopefully these people know that it's a longer race and they didn't do half of an hour stint with enough fuel for another half an hour. But we do have a few of the pit stops already done. Which normally I think would be around the 37.5 minute mark if you would do it really split in half. So, but let's see if what people will do. I'm not quite sure if an undercut or overcut is actually a big deal in this on the track. Personally, I noticed that if I would take the tires a bit earlier, so if I had the new tires, I would be really quicker in the second stint than in the first one. But sometimes after the pit stop, I would be less consistent, so I perhaps might have been quicker, but I wasn't. In the end, I would lose time because I spun out too much. But that's a story for another day. So looking at the positions now, Andy on 6th, Stewart of Samuel van Liebenstein on 5th, so still going really strong in the Honda as well. Which is quite amazing. So lap times have dropped a bit for everyone. So where we saw 57s, lap times are now into the 158 half simply, instead of the 157 half. So tires are getting a beating, I think. Even though now the car will be getting lighter. Yeah, ooh, that's... oh, Nick Wargers is in the pit trying to do the undercut, I think. So let's see where he comes out, and then, yeah, kind of curious if Peter will now be able to catch up to Walter Oderman, and then see if they can actually, if he is able to pass a really tough to pass Aston Martin. Well, he's cutting it close with his lines, I think, there. Because he's sort of outside of the track. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the track limits are exactly. And that's a corner that we just saw. So the first part of Vale, of that chicane. That's in Club. That's a really tricky car if you look at sort of the track cuts and the tire performance. So. He seems to be closing in, and now into the loop. This is a hard, that bump on the inside, so the curb there, that's just a monster that kills you if you hit it, because you will spin out immediately on the exit of that one. So we've had Aintree, Wellington Straight into Brooklands, braking hard, keeping it as tight as possible to the line, and really on the back of the world, getting into the almost the ass off. So what we see here, it's a replay of Chris Finning. So what happened? Oh, whoa, that's a cent and a half. So who did he touch? Oh, it's on a back marker. That's a bit of a shame. Yeah, and then he lost, I think, the position. Was that to Samuel? To Terje, yeah. And he lost position to Terje Fredriksson. So that's a shame. So Michael Thomas now in the pits. And left it already again. So we're in the pits with Peter Vernier. Perhaps not the most exciting thing to look at, but it's it's really nice to see if he's able to jump Nick Wargers, and it seems that he has. So if he's now able to stay ahead, then of course Nick has a bit warmer tires, but yeah, and here it's now really hard to pass. So, but he might get a better exit because of his warmer tires, and get a bit of an overspeed on the exit. Oh, Dave, I just got a drive through. Oh, they are keeping it close, but so tight and well driven by both of them. I mean, Peter had to stay really, really close on the apex there, and on the curb to not hit anybody else. So that was really nicely done by both of them. So who else is still driving? So Chris Finning is in the pit as well. And Liam Walsh is now in the pit as well. So we will then have Terje, I think, as our lead after the pit stop. Liam, yeah. So Liam is now falling back. quite a bit. He's out again. So where's Michael Thomas? Michael is driving on the 12th position. But Liam is, yeah, there they, yeah, Liam is now just a bit behind Boss. So there's 7 seconds in between, or 8 seconds in between him and Michael Thomas. So sort of was wondering because it didn't update quick enough yet. So yeah, I think Michael, we can agree, is still in the virtual lead, unless they pulled up something really incredible, but he's just so far behind in total. So Danny McCutcheon in the Lexus trying to overtake the McLaren 27, which is a back marker, I guess. It's a position. Oh, it's Ian van der Kaan. Oh yeah, Ian van der Kaan, yeah. Who didn't pitch yet, so he's our first M driver, as and our first silver driver at the moment is still Watkins. Danny McCutcheon, I think Dave Hedges was our... Was Dave? No, he was Dave. Yeah, Dave is the... Yeah. He served the drive-through, so he got pushed back quite a bit. So he's now in 26th position, which is a shame. It's also quite a, if you have a drive-through here on this track, it's actually quite a long one. It takes quite a bit of time, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, it's really all about pit entry and pit exit, so don't go too quickly on throttle, don't overspeed that speed limit in the pit. So quite a few people still in the pit at the moment. So in Richardson, Ian van der Kaan, Bas van Melis and Max de Bruin are in the pit as well at the moment. And then there are not that many that still need to do a pit stop. And those are mostly in the front, I think. So Leonardo Wolf Garcia is really closing up on the Ferrari of Ries Groter. And he seems to have the speed on the straight, perhaps in braking as well. Ooh, trying to get the outside line, but it's a tough one to do there. Oh, bit of a slide. Well, if he needs any lessons, he can ask Steve Parker. Takes a really good line and has a lot of speed, but a bit too much on the outside here, perhaps. Braking hard, keeping it close to the apex, and ooh, trying it on the inside, forcing Reese a bit wide. But now really close and should be able to get past if he has enough overspeed here, but then and is able to outbrake. But even though he's been able to brake a bit later, he now isn't, but he keeps it on the outside, doing it on the inside for next corner, and yeah, that's a pass, and really nicely driven by both of them. So now, can he run away as well? Because it's always, of course, one thing to pass someone, but then is he able to pull away again as well? But he seems to be just having a bit more top speed, so should be able to get away, I think, from Reese there. And it's also perhaps something where did people put on extra tires which is a question we're definitely gonna ask the people after the driving, is if they actually did put on the extra tires. Or new tires anyway. Because it's a really, really heavy track on the, as far as I can remember, on the tires. And like I said, it's easy to get some sort of damage on the tire to where you need to almost change them just because performance is going down. So do we? No, Thea is still driving on. Samuel van Liebenstein still driving. Andy still driving. Huot still driving. Woerk still driving. So the top 5 hasn't had their pit stop yet. Dave Hedges, our rusty as Fook driver, is trying to climb up again because he of course has the speed after his drive-through. So hopefully he's able to recover a few places for him. So trying to take on De Bruin, so that was Max De Bruin. He's one of our M drivers, who's actually driving in 3rd position at the moment. So Ranjiv in 2nd and Ian van der Kaan in position 17 on the 1st position within the amateur category. And I think it's good fun, at least, that we have quite a few amateur drivers again today. I think we ended up with 3 amateur drivers in Oulton Park in the final result. So it's really nice to see them a bit more represented here on this track. So we have 34 people in the race. Did we already get some feedback on Reese's retirement? Was there any? Yeah. Reese Croter, was it Croter? Oh, Steve, right. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, still unfortunate. But if it's a technical failure, I mean, it's something that's happening in real races as well. So any technical failure, if it's either a PC crashing, an internet connection, losing an internet connection, your sim, your brake failures, your steering failure. So it's all part of the realism of the game, right? If anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. So. Oh, that's a drift and a half. Ooh, yeah. Let's save. Can he do the outside line? Ooh, it's the inside for this one, if he keeps it real close. But he doesn't have the exit, so nicely driven. So that was some nice driving, because Dave had the sort of opportunity to do it there, but he just couldn't get his throttle down with the longer line that Max was taking, which is actually really well driven by Max as well. I mean, that was no amateur move by him. So here we seem to have an overtake immediately by Michael de Gore on Dave Hedges, but that's a slide and a half as well. And he gets overtaken again immediately by Wouter Vrins. So yeah, that's one of the things on this track as well. It's because it's so hard on the tires, and you try to keep as much speed as you can into those corners. It's really simple to overdrive your car, and yeah, in the end it just loses speed. I mean, you can see sort of the angle of the car in the corners, so you see those cars sort of have different angles, so one car is a bit more oversteery on turn in, probably, and then just tries to make it up on the exit. But it's yeah, nice. Anyway, nice driving. I mean, they didn't crash, kept it in a clean line. Because it's easy if you start to slide to, as we've seen as well by, what was it, Maarten van der Kaan, I think. You just overcorrect and you're almost directly, completely going the other way. So it's really easy to do. So do we have some fights going on as well? Because this is now some half a second lap. Is that our closest? So Dave Hedges, is he the closest one to Max de Bruin, I think, right? Otherwise it's, oh, and Neugebauer, he was really close. Peter van Eer is back on Nick Vargas' tail, so we do have a repeat, but this time without Roald Orderman in front of them. But it's looking really familiar for Peter, for Sim Racing Holland, to see that livery of Mode 11 from the back, so something he's seen before for at least half an hour. And well, we almost have a bit of a half an hour to go, so if he's able to sort of keep it at this distance all the time, he'll be dreaming about it tonight, I guess. So we have Dave McCutcheon, who's been overtaken now in the Lexus by Michael Thomas. And then we only have our top three at the moment who need to do another pit stop. So really wondering if it's worth their while in the end. So let's see how that pans out. So the difference between, I think, Terrier and Michael Thomas, so that's first position to fourth, that's about 37, 42 seconds at the moment. I'm not quite sure how long the pit stop takes, but yeah, that's probably a bit longer than the 42 seconds. So really nice line by Peter through Maggots back at St. Chapel there. And then I'm just surprised how little the draft seems to be doing for the guys. So that then just really the top speed of that BMW compared to the Ferrari seems to be yeah, quite really good. And normally I would expect the Ferrari to be quite nimble through some of the corners, but that's because it's a more mid-engined car, it should be more nimble. So Peter should be sort of catching up in the couple of corners that he's approaching now. Just picking up a bit of extra rotation just because of the mid-engine car, rear engine car, and then you should be able to get a bit closer, but yeah, it's quite hard for him to get into the sort of, I think you need to be more or less within 4/10 to get the best out of a draft situation. So Andrew Richardson is now within 4/10 of Boakund, so he should be able to get a good draft. But it's yeah, something that's, I think, even a really good racing track can be really hard to overtake, and it's not just in Formula One. It's it's in every race class. So still going strong there. So we do have Simo van Liebenstein, who did a pit stop as well. So he's in 7th behind Liam. Liam is in half a second off Dave McCutcheon, but Dave still needs to do his pit stop, so kind of wondering where he'll be ending up. If he'll be in front Burak or not after the pit stop. But let's see where he gets when he's when we're there. I think one of the things that I'm most curious about if Roald Olderman will be still in front of Peter Vernier and Nick Wargers, as he was during the whole sort of first part of the race. So here's Andrew, really close to Burak. And that's a bit of a decision that you sometimes need to make. Burak is now in 2nd position, possibly 1st in, depending on if Dave McCutcheon is actually, if he does his pit stop, how much he will lose. And then Burak can say, okay, I'm not fighting Andrew, but then he has Patrick Bijsers immediately behind him, which of course, if he can keep Andrew behind him, that would sort of help keeping Patrick at bay as well. So it's a bit of a nice slide, which now I think will cost him a bit, because yeah, that was a bit to be expected. That's this game, right? Grand Prix Legends 4-wheel drift. That's like the. So that was the 4-wheel slide drift simulator with the really old death traps that you needed to drive. I think that was one of the first games where I used force feedback, where I was like without force feedback and couldn't drive it, and with force feedback that was the first time that I was like, okay, this is a bit drivable, still not really, but a bit drivable, because then finally you could actually feel what the car was doing. But Patrick's now really close on Burak's as well, as I'm perhaps not allowed to say. And nowadays, you, of course, you say he's right on his yacht. So that's the new speak of my children anyway. Which, of course, if we pronounce it, it's all wrong and in the wrong moment. And you shouldn't use it like that. But yeah, of course here there's two of the same cars behind each other, so there's no real difference. Perhaps in a few miles. Ooh, that's a shame. Will he wait, being the gentleman that he is? And he is. Love to see this, guys. This is, for me, this is SSRI. You bump someone, especially the one you're in direct contention with, and that's when you do, and if you hit him and you do this, that's just awesome. But noticing that Dave McCutcheon now did his pit stop, and he's ahead. I'm not quite sure if he were actually just passed. Was Danny? Oh, I'm always saying David, but he's Danny McCutcheon. Was he actually already in the mix just before this? I didn't notice it. Damn, I was just watching it too much. And then I noticed that he was now 5 seconds in front. I didn't think they didn't lose 5 seconds with that bump. I don't think so. Let's see what their lap time is after the lap, perhaps. And then they did a 2:06 both. Oh, that might have been 5 seconds. But then Danny did a 2:40. He might have just been in there and then just passed them. But that should have been 10 seconds. And if he's now still 5 seconds ahead, no, I don't think. But there might have been really close together just at the moment of impact. Nah. But yeah, still, of course, Danny doing a really good job in silver at the moment. So, and Ian van der Kaan as well in the amateur class. So he's still quite a bit ahead of, at least over 4 seconds ahead, of 5 seconds ahead in front of Mr. Kalsi. So. Should be good fun. Oh, that's getting out of the way immediately. At every intention of not being a bother, which is also really nice. Patrick already, of course, passed Burak now, so. Let's hope they can sort of keep it together a bit and try and get back a bit to Danny's tail and see if they can make it the three-way fight for the lead of the semi-pros. I don't think that's really happening at the moment, although yeah, Bungie seems to be getting a bit closer to Ian, but not by enough to really close it up, I guess. Although his speed is, if you look at difference in lap time, he should be able to close up to Ian if he has a few laps to go. So we have an hour behind us at the moment, and we still have our first 3 drivers without a pit stop. Or is Roald in the pit at the moment? No, he isn't. No. So Terje and Roald are at the moment our leads, with Michael Thomas. Yeah, about, what is it? 35 seconds behind Terje now. So let's see, is he pushing? Yeah, he's pushing quite hard, and he's quicker. Liam is actually quicker at the moment than Michael is, but there's also still quite a difference between them. So Michael and Liam do now have a gap of, what's it going to be? Let's see. So, is that plus 30? But it's a 10-second gap, perhaps. We have Steve Parker. He's fighting, what is it, Chris van Horn, right? Or Carl van Horn, yeah, that's the one. So, getting quite close now, but will he be able to? I mean, it's a fight we've seen before, but Carl is, did he have to lift? But then it's, yeah, it's really hard to do in pass here. The trick is mostly to try and get as close to Carl on the exit, but who's that guy's quick. So who's that? Is that Wouter just coming up this close, or is that Dave? Is it Dave Hedges, perhaps? Perhaps. Oh, it's Wouter Bijlsma, perhaps, yeah. So, just, oh yeah, Wouter Bijlsma. Was closing in really quick. How did he do that? Let's see, what was his, how were his lap times? Yeah, that's just reasonable, so. But this could be a nice three-way battle to the end. I mean, 11 minutes to go. Where are we on track with the leader? So, it's, oh, and we have Tay in the pit at the moment. And Roald as well, so Andy King is leading, still driving around. So will Nick Vargas actually pass Roald once he's done his pit stop? I mean, this was the battle during the first half of the race before they went into the pit. No, that's a quick stop, yeah, but I mean, if the other guys actually did it halfway and took new tires, then it's there's a huge difference in lap time. So yeah, Roald is. I don't think Roald. I mean, if he was able to save his tires, and you now only have 10 minutes to go, so that's like 5 or 6 laps, and you feel comfy and balanced on the tires. Why not try and take it to the end, right? There was a big slide though by Peter Vernier there. He almost lost it, and going from 4 tenths behind Nick Vargas, that's gone up a bit. So there was a bit of a slide there. So, and Terrier, I think he did a good as well, right? I think Terrier wasn't he behind? Terrier was he behind Samuel? There. Because Roald is now in 6th position, also before Chris Vining. So he actually did a really nice job there, I guess. But the battle here is going on now between Wout Vrins and Arjan van der Linde and Michael de Gore, I think. So that's a close one, and they've seen each other on track quite a few times already. Ooh, that's a blocking move, Mr. Vrins. That Lexus has some top speed, so I mean, if Michael is actually really close behind Wouter, or was that a loft tap? Might have been. So, and the trick I think always here is that you in Beckett's you have to try and line it up. So you at Chapel you're really close on the tail of the car in front of you, so you have the whole hanger straight to sort of try and get up to speed. You need to be just a bit away, but in the slipstream, so you get that over speed more or less at the end of the hanger straight. But that's really, really hard to do. But yeah, the Lexus I thought was a really quick car on the straight, so should be able to close up again. But I'm a bit surprised by the McLarens, the amount of McLarens for starters, but also because I think it's a really nice car to drive, but also because it doesn't seem to be particularly quick, and also a bit surprised actually no one from the Pro League uses a McLaren. I mean, it's I think quite a favorite car for quite a few people. Or it's been at least a favorite car. Quite a few people I think also in the Pro Leagues, right? It's the guy, the James Baldwin guy. He's been doing it for the SSRI, or so. But he's really close now. So can he make the move stick? Oh, blocking a bit. Ooh, brake. If he can keep it that close on this part, he should have a really good overtaking opportunity at the end of the hanger straight. And I think he has that. But did they lose time to the Lexus, and does he have a bit more speed? And do we who's behind that? Is that one of the leaders coming on? Yeah, that's Michael Thomas, I think, right? Going for the lap. Ooh, breaking themselves really hard. Michael trying to get on the inside. Will he be able to get there? Oh, don't try to hit the leaders. Not gonna be happy about that, I guess. But Wouter isn't either, because he's now lost the position and has to fight his way back. Oh, that's... Not quite sure what you're doing there. Oh, that's really, really bad. Not quite sure if you should force yourself past someone as a leader. That's perhaps also not how you should do it. But in the end, if you're that close, it's a really good place to let someone by. I mean, that's a really slow part of the track. If you outbrake just a bit, you go a bit to the outside, it should be easy to have someone to let someone pass. So should be okay. So Danny trying to catch up to, what's it? Is that Reese? Oh, yeah, Reese Groter. Yeah. Is he driving a bit? Oh, wait a sec. So Patrick Bijsters. Yeah, he passed, and he's, I think, driving or closing up on Danny, Patrick. Yeah, he's closing up a bit. So the last lap he was able to close up 4/10, but he seems to be losing some time now. So, is Andy driving on fumes now? How is the guy still running? It's 70 minutes driving, 71 minutes, and he didn't do a pit stop. What's in that guy's fuel tank? Does he have extra liters? I have no idea. I think I've done the Lambo, and I think you have like a maximum for like 60 minutes or so, or 64. Is the Ferrari so fuel efficient? Still going? Oh yeah, he's he's on driving on battery power. I've just been told. What the hell? It's amazing. But still, 14 seconds for Michael Thomas. So, how long does a splash and dash take? That's. Oh, he's not gonna win. That's for sure. But if that's losing him like 20, 30, would that be 30 seconds at least? Just driving through, and I mean, we saw Dave Hedges do a drive-through, and he lost a lot of places. So it's gonna be interesting. So there's a yellow on track as well. Who's that? Oh, that's green driving again. That's an amazing job by Andy. I mean, I don't know how you would keep the car running. Is that fuel saving one-on-one? Is he driving? No, he's not driving Le Mans Ultimate and training his fuel saving skills, which is almost fuel saving simulator. Yeah, he should be in this lap, I guess. If he's not in this lap, he will not have done his pit stop, so he must come in now. But still amazing effort. Yep, coming in. And then we're gonna stay with him and perhaps do a secondary screen of Michael. See how he. And can we then, in that secondary screen, can we switch to the next driver, or is that impossible? I have no idea. So that's Michael already. Yeah. So yeah. So that's Liam then. Yeah, so he's through, and then, yeah. So, but he's already, yeah. So that's gonna be next to each other, but still, I mean, this is giving him 4th position easily. And depending on if he feels good, try and do an overtake. Amazing job by him. That's a surprise. I didn't think anyone would actually do this, or this would be the result. I think, looking at the results, I think the people that actually did this, they all came out ahead by miles. I mean, Roald Ordelman, he's way ahead of Nick Vargas with 8 seconds or so, where they were really close before that. So it really paid off, which also means, of course, that they've been driving with a really full car, full of fuel. And what they might have done then is not take new tires, where maybe people switching halfway did take new tires. So still, it's going to be a valid question at the end of during the interviews. But amazing driving, and he still has a chance. Do we already have the finishing position by Michael? Because we're in the last lap as well. We're looking at this, but Michael is almost finishing, I guess. So really nice win from him. Well deserved. I mean, he didn't make a mistake, except perhaps force himself a bit past it. Liam did a really good job. I mean, finishing in 8 seconds on a race like this is really nicely done. And just keeping it in front of Andy, which is a immensely nice effort by Andy. What a good job did he do. So, Samuel van Liebenstein, excellent job in 5th as well. I mean, the Honda is a really hard car to drive. Roald, after his amazing fight in the first half, doing a really well-deserved 6th position. Winning, and Nick Vargas finishing, Peter van Eer. Leonardo Wolf Garcia will be coming up next. With Andrew Richardson and Richard Croter finishing off the first pros before we have a really close finish, I think, between Dave McCutcheon, Patrick Bijsters and Boer Kunt will be finishing in 3rd position. Oh, Brook finishes in 2nd position. How did he beat past Patrick in the last few corners? How the hell? Okay, this is some interesting chat. And then Ian van der Kraan will be finishing, I guess. Oh, Patrick finished in the pit, so he might have run out of fuel, perhaps. Oh no, he's now in the pit. No, he didn't finish in the pit, but he's now in the pit. So he returned to the pit. And Ian van der Kraan finishes first for the amateurs, and Ranjiv Kalsi second, and Max de Bruin as a third. Steve Parker fourth, and let's see, Dave Hatches finishes fourth. after a good fight back then for the fourth position in the silver class. So well done to him as well. But yeah, that was a nice race with I think a really tense first half with the amazing fight between Roald and what was it, Patrick and Nick, of Peter and Nick. So that was really fun. And just good. I think in general, really good racing. Just nicely driven. I thought it was overall really clean driving. So that's always nice. And we're gonna go to our amateur winner, I think, first, because he's already in the shed. We're gonna talk to Ian van der Kaan, which I'm now dragging into the shed. So Ian, welcome to the shed, and congratulations on your amateur win.
Thank you.
That was, I think, a really nice drive of you, right?
I hope it was. Yeah, I tried to keep it clean the entire race. I think that quite worked out, apart from a little bit of banter and banging in turn one, but that always happens with a field like this. Quite big sprint race. Everyone's trying to make up some places in the first lap, so there's always going to be a bit of banging doors through the first corner, but kept it quite clean, kept it on the road. No spins, no big mistakes, so I think that was quite a good drive.
Yeah, because you were, I think, clean away from every other amateur. I think you already had a really good quali as well.
I got P3 in quali, which was honestly a bit disappointing for me. I wanted to get a bit of a better quali. But yeah, I managed to make it up in the race. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but my race time was second up from my quali pace, so that was yeah, I could have taken a bit more out of quali, but sometimes it happens. The car just clicked during the race, and was a
but it's the results only count in the race, right?
Exactly. You get
so
no points for quali.
Who cares? No. So really well done. Did you? How was your strategy? And did you pit halfway and then, or did you? So and did you take new tires, for example? So how were the tires at the end?
I was really debating that because me and my team have recently done a race here, and it was a 70-minute stint timer, and we really noticed that at the end of the 70-minute stint, the tires were dead. Like, actually not there anymore. We checked the tire wear at the end of a 70-minute stint, and it shows you have 3 millimeters of thread. It was down to 0.5 millimeters of thread, so not quite what you want to have at the end of a stint. But I kept the same setup. I was kind of debating on what I wanted to do, but in the end I went for a pit stop around 35 minutes to go. Also put some new tires in, fueled the car up a bit extra. To make sure to make it to the end. And
did you started with fuel, with full fuel then?
I started with around 70 liters. I thought I'll do like 60 to get to around about the midway mark.
Oh, okay.
I'll fuel it up a little bit extra, so I have a little bit of playroom, so I can go either earlier or later if I want to.
Yeah.
Which was quite a good call in the end, because I extended it a little bit, because my I think my championship rival was and still is Ranjiv Kalsi.
Yeah. And he finished second now, so.
Oh, lovely. That's good for me. With the drop round, there was a drop round in this as well, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Okay, then in drop rounds we're both 2 P1s and both 1 P2 then.
This is fun.
So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
To the wire, yeah.
It's gonna be very much to the wire.
Next race will be the Hungaroring. So how are your expectations then for that?
Oh, well, just like I said for Suzuka, I've never actually done a race there, so it's going to be a big unknown for me and for the team. But the last time I said that in Suzuka, it packed out quite well, so I'm just hoping for that to happen again. But yeah, I can't really comment on that. I'm just hoping that it's going to pack out the same way it did in Suzuka, and otherwise I've had a very fun season up till now.
Yeah.
I'll probably have a very good last race as well. Yeah, very fun battle with Kelsey the entire season up till now.
Let's bring him in as well, because he's in the waiting room. So let's plug him in. So hey, Ranjiv.
Hello,
Welcome to the interview, Ian, your great competitor, with whom you are now tied in the standings and the results, even with the dropped round, is with you in the chat. So,
congratulations, Ian. Well raced, brother. Well raced.
Thank you, Ranjiv.
I think I was too eager in the beginning. Made a mistake. I think I came together with parties, and after that, we'll just catch up. I mean, I was catching up, but it was too much to ask. But well raced, brother. Well raced.
What happened in the end? Because I suddenly saw you were within 3 seconds, catching up quite quickly. I was quite scared in the last 10 minutes, to be fair.
Well, I had Melis and parties in front of me. I couldn't get past Melis. I was hoping to pressure Melis and put him under some pressure so I make him make a mistake, but he held steady. He made a mistake afterwards. I wish he had done it a few laps earlier.
What can happen, can happen.
Yeah, I guess
but it's final race is going to be for you guys in the Hungaroring, which is a track, not loved by anyone or everyone. I think it's in a way it's a really fun track. It's a way much tighter track, of course, than this track is. So how are you feeling about that track, Ranjiv?
I guess okay. I mean, normally struggle with that chicane and bouncing on the Ferrari.
Everyone does.
And obviously, there's the likelihood of drive-throughs by taking that. What is that after the chicane? The left, right, left, the right, left, right, the right hand at the very end. That you the risk of overshooting that and obtaining a drive-through. So yeah, it's a tricky track, but hopefully, if I can manage to qualify in front of Ian, I know that I just have to hold station.
Let's just agree to not drive like Senna and Prost.
Yes.
Then I'm all fine with the results.
But yeah.
No, guys, it was a really good race for you guys today, and I'm really looking forward to your battle there. Should be awesome. I think you're the closest matched in all the standings, so we should be trying at least to get some nice views from hopefully a fight between you two guys really on track. That would be awesome.
Me and Ian are trying to keep it entertaining, not like just run away with the championship. We're trying to keep it entertaining for everybody. Like, who's gonna come on top?
I'm just hoping for not another race like Oulton Park for me.
Oulton Park, surprisingly for me, I was lucky, and the changeable weather. I was short on fuel, but the change of weather suited.
You were so quick, mate.
If there was an extra lap, I would have run out of fuel.
You were so quick, mate. I could not keep up. Just no chance. But yeah.
That's how it should be. There should be some tracks that are either good for the car. You're not driving the same car, I thought, right? Or are you?
We're both driving the Ferrari.
Both driving Ferrari. Okay. Then it's just a skill issue.
Yeah, it was a skill issue in Oulton Park. Because the first race, where was the first race again? That was
first race was Watkins. Yep.
Well, okay. Apparently, I'm better at Silverstone-like tracks, like Suzuka and Silverstone, with very fast-flowing S's. And Ranjiv is a bit better at slower circuits with no fast-flowing S's. So it's gonna be a fun mix at the Hungaroring to see who's quicker, because we have both.
Yes.
Yeah, your standing is exactly the same. Yeah.
Yes, I was hoping for a Brands Hatch as opposed to. I would have fared better if Brands Hatch was there.
But Hungaroring is fun for a change, I think, because it's not a car that's driven all that much, and so that makes it a bit different again.
Yeah, it's not my strongest tracks, but I'm sure I'm sure me and Ian will be closely matched and we'll have a fight.
I hope so. It would be lovely to finish the season with a great race.
Well, this anyway was a great one for you guys. So
Thank you for.
I wish you both a really good luck in the next race. And since no other drivers are actually seeming to join the shed, I'm going to end this here with a shout out to Chris as being our fabulous cameraman in action. And see you all in 2 weeks' time on the Hungaroring. And I'm not going to sing that song by Oliver.
Sing it. Come on.
That's not something we're going to do.
So that's the sign of
Oh, come
training.
No, Ranjiv is going to do it. He volunteers apparently.
No, I haven't volunteered. Ian, we can do a duet. Like,
I don't know it out of my head.
It's something just like you just have to go.
Yeah.
That's the one. And with that, we're gonna close. Wish you.